We're now ready to take a look at how to run a CMA, comparative market analysis. So let's say that I have a buyer that is interested in putting an offer in on a property. I'm going to go to search. And keep in mind here that we now need to, instead of doing active, option pending, continue to show, you're going to go ahead and select pending and sold and then hit enter. I personally like to pull down all 5 just to see what is going on in the neighborhood, just to get the most up-to-date information too, compared to just pulling sold comps. Make sure that when you are running a CMA that you are including a closing date. So if you see at the top, I have a million matches because I put in for the whole city of Houston, which means it is pulling since the MLS was developed. So here on the closing date, right now we're on February 3rd. Normally I'd say pull the past 6 months, just depending on neighborhoods. You can pull it down to 3 months if you need 9 months. It kind of all depends on how much activity has happened in the subdivisions or area. So just for now, I'm going to put approximately 6 months back, and I'm going to pull to just last summer. So I'm going to put 7/1/2015, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so I still have too many matches, which means that I should have that many because I didn't put any criteria other than the whole city of Houston. So at this point, what I need to do is I need to put in from whatever property my client is interested in, or let's say I'm looking at a listing appointment. Now I know what subdivision that house is in for either of them, and so I need to run that. So for example, right now I'm going to run the subdivision name of Spring Shadows. And I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so there's 125 matches in Spring Shadows that have closed since last July. So that's kind of the first step that you want to do when you're running a CMA. So we put in active through closed, we put in a close date, and we also put in a subdivision name. Now keep in mind, you're going to start going through the information now. So for example, if my property is a 4-bedroom, or if it has a very large lot size, or if it's in a gated subdivision, these are items then now I'm going to start separating. For example, with Spring Shadows, I personally want to include the left side of Gessner right here, just as like the most similar comparable that I possibly can, because it's on the same side of a major road right there. So for this example specifically, I'm going to come over here to the top right, and I'm going to say draw a custom map. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to essentially say I'm going to only pull the left side of Gessner. So as soon as I do that, it got rid of all my matches on the right side of Gessner, and now I have only 64 matches. Let's say right now I just want to do a small comparison. So I will hit results. And right here you can see there are 4 bedrooms, there's 3 bedrooms, and you can see lot sizes and square footages. Let's say the property that I want to run a comparable on is this 2735 Triway Lane right here. Its square footage is listed at 1954. And typically what I do is I want to put a range of plus 300 and minus 300 on square footage, kind of to bring it down to similar size properties. So if that one's 1954, I'm going to go ahead and put 1600. And then I'm going to go ahead and go up to, let's just say 2300. And again, I can change that too, but there are 17 matches. So that Triway house is actually a 4-bedroom. If I wanted to, I could put right here, minimum number of bedrooms as 4 bedrooms, and just see how many matches. I go down to 12 matches, which is still a pretty good number. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 4 bedrooms as criteria. But keep in mind, if you need to leave the 3 bedrooms, you can, and still run the comps. So the next step would be to go to results. And this is going to have them all broken down in a grid format. And if you see right here on the left, a bunch of them are red, which means sold, and the green ones mean active. Right now we can see list price, we can see bedrooms, and we can see actual sales prices of what it closed for. Sorry, the screen was a little delayed there. So right now I'm going to go ahead and let it calculate the averages for me. So now it's in the right order, which is normal. And up here in the top right corner, the second one from the end, it says Quick CMA. Once you hit that button, it's going to actually generate a CMA report for you. And I really like these reports because it has all the details kind of broken into a chart that's easily accessible. Then there's a search criteria at the bottom too. So we can always remember what we pulled the search for, and then we can print it and we can email it to a buyer, or if we need to include it to, like, let's say a listing appointment. So let's just take a look at here. They're each going to be broken down by category. At the top, you're going to see active. If there were any pending or option pendings, you would see those listed next, or pending continue to show. So at the moment, there were none in this neighborhood that fell into our criteria, but there are a handful of solds. So down here on the solds, we're going to go look at average. So average square footage, 2139. Okay, the list price was $315,000. List price per square foot. We'll look at what it actually sold for. So this is what we want to see when we're actually submitting offers for buyers, is what was the sales price per square foot. So for this neighborhood, this specific left of Gessner, which we pulled, it's pulling up at $144 a square foot. Average days on market were 38 days. So if I use this $144 a square foot, and I actually go up here to the average of the actives, and remember, let's say my client wants to put an offer in on 2735 Triway, it's currently listed at $146 a square foot, right? And we're seeing the average is right at $144 that it actually sold. So this kind of gives you a easy way to calculate kind of a baseline of, hey, you know what, this is where the comps did sell at, which will help us be able to price it. Keep in mind also, when you are ready to submit an offer for the buyers, take a look through the properties once you have it broken down into a handful of properties. So this one brought up 12, which is a pretty good amount. I would say normally you want somewhere around the 10 property range. Go ahead and take a look at pictures. You can look through them, just hit details, just double check, you know, compare your property that your client's interested in offering to the properties that have already sold. And that will give you an idea too where it falls in on an average. Will it fall into average or above average or below? Keep in mind too, some might have been foreclosures, so you can tell if it was a foreclosure down here. It's going to be disclosures, and they'll say foreclosures right here. Here's just another example. This one is active. Let me go to one that's sold and show you. So once you've pulled up a sold property, you can see right here it says status closed. It was listed at $275,000. When you scroll to the bottom of any sold comp on the MLS, you're going to see sales price. So this one sold at $265,000. You're going to see option pending date, when it was ending, pending date, and estimated close date, and when it actually closed. A lot of times too, you'll see whether it was a cash sale, financing sale, was any money contributed to the buyers, or repairs actually paid. So at this point, that is a decent amount of information for you to take a look at and be able to run a CMA for the properties. And any specific questions, just let me know. And keep in mind too, when you guys are ready to, you can email these out. You can pinpoint specific ones. Let's say one was a foreclosure and you want to exclude it. Just check mark as many as you want to include. You can hit email or quick CMA. If I hit email, down at the bottom, there is a link for quick CMA as well. Thanks.